All right, welcome back again. It's David Spanio with Brand Rocket, and we are making great headway, right? So we are going to take a deep dive into keyword research. Really, really important stuff here because keywords are the bread and butter of your Google Ads account. You got to make sure your keywords are correct. The universe of keywords is vast and they mean a lot of different things. The way somebody expresses themselves through keywords is very indicative of where they are in the buying journey. So are they searching for things that indicate that they're still unsure of where to go and what solution to choose? Are they looking for educational materials? Or do the keywords express high urgency where they're like, okay, I need help with this right now because my back is killing me. I could barely even sit in my chair. I need help immediately, right? So these keywords mean a lot of different things and you have to be able to segregate them out and treat them differently. You want to bid most aggressively, most likely. This is because this is Google Ads. We're talking about high intent searches for the most part at the bottom of the funnel. But that's not necessarily the case, right? So we're going to get into keywords. Again, if you're just jumping into this video, or into this video series, we've covered a lot. There's going to be about 10 videos. We've already covered conversion tracking to make sure that you are measuring success and you're feeding those signals back into Google Ads because Google Ads now uses those signals for algorithmic learning so that you can use smart bidding options like maximize conversions and max conversion value, right? So make sure you watch those videos as well. We talked about knowing your goals. You got to know where you're heading before you can really chart a course as to where you want to go, and the details matter, right? So strategy before tactics. We talked about setting your budget accordingly and making sure that you have the right budget and that you're not overspending for keywords and that you feel comfortable making the right decision on your bids for different keywords. And then we talked about the formulas, the different Google Ads formulas that are really important, understanding how the engine works. So if you're just jumping in now, be sure to go back and check out those other videos as well. I mention this from time to time, but just a quick commercial here. If you need help, this is, Google Ads, we live and breathe this stuff, right? Especially for chiropractors. Built a lot of successful chiropractic accounts. The keyword build that we're going to talk about is very detailed. It takes a lot of time to do it right for sure. And we've done it so many times that we know what works and what doesn't, what can be wasteful and what's profitable. So if you need help, just let me know. I'm at brandrocket.net/schedule. We could talk for 15, 20 minutes. Be glad to help you out. We have discounted rates for chiropractors because we've cut out a lot of this legwork and this time to be able to build the campaigns. So we can build them for you. We also do management services for chiropractors. And it's a no-brainer because we handle all that and you're able to focus on your practice, growing your practice, focus on patient care, right? Quality patient care, while we focus on constantly bringing you in new leads and getting your phone to ring on a regular basis. So now that I've gotten that little quick commercial out of the way, let's just jump into keyword research here. So keyword research can again be applied, and I'm going to repeat some of the previous video here, but it can be applied to different stages of the buying journey. And if you think about the way that people buy, there's different levels of awareness, right? And it doesn't even matter if it's a product or service. This is usually how it works, where in the beginning. Now, chiropractic care in general, most people are aware of what chiropractors do, but there's a lot of services that chiropractors offer that they're not aware of, right? So think about it at the service level as well. But when we think about the way that, how it applies to the psychology of buying, right? At the unaware stage, somebody doesn't even know they have a problem. This is where we're talking about like television commercials or billboards. And, here in Arizona, I see emergency chiropractic all over the place, right? Doing branding. Somebody doesn't even need chiropractic care, but it's like slowly embedding the name over and over again, right? So at the subconscious level, so that when that person does need chiropractic care, emergency chiropractic comes to mind, right? So there's different ways to do this for sure. Because we do Google Ads, we usually start down at the most aware because we're talking about high intent commercial searches and being able to capture those searches to convert that person who needs help now into a patient as quickly as possible. But it doesn't have to be that way. There's different levels as somebody traverses that buying funnel, there's different levels that we can certainly make sure that we capture their awareness, capture their intent, bring them over into the your chiropractic website, and then deliver value, whether it's like an educational video, educational materials, or just booking the appointment, right? So there's a bunch of different ways that we could go about it. So unaware, somebody doesn't even know they have a problem. Problem aware, they're aware of a problem, but they don't know the solutions to fix it. Maybe there's something off with their gait. Maybe there's something weird going on with their back hurts when they're walking. They don't know what's going on. They're okay, well, can I get some kind of a device off of Amazon? Should I take an Advil or two to fix this? Like, they're problem aware, but they don't know exactly what to do. Solution aware, they are aware of the solutions to solve the problem, but they haven't chosen one. Okay, so maybe this is at this level, they're aware of different chiropractic solutions specific to your practice that they might explore. Okay, product or service aware, and these kind of like merge together, quite honestly. So there's no hard line of delineation between these, but product or service aware in this particular case, they know about your solution, but they're not truly convinced that yours is best. Maybe yours is like a holistic experience. Maybe it's not just about making a chiropractic adjustments, but it's more total quality chiropractic care. They're just not sure about it yet, so they're not quite ready to pull the trigger. So they're at that particular stage. And then most aware, they've totally bought in on your process. They've totally bought in on what you are proposing to get them back to having a normal and thriving life again, right? And they're very, very close to pulling the trigger. So what does that look like in terms of the way people would think as they go through this buying process or this buying journey, this mental buying journey? So at the unaware stage, maybe something feels off with my back. Problem aware, my lower back is killing me. Solution, product aware, somewhere in here, I wonder if chiropractic adjustment would help with my back pain, right? Or any of the different services that you offer. And then at the most aware stage, this chiropractor really seems to know how to help me reclaim my life. I think I'm going to give him a call, right? So that's the whole, and then there's a bunch of different queries that are completely not even part of this, but you'll see this. Like when we run ads, and we look at search terms, so what people are actually typing into Google to trigger ads, it's mind-blowing the way that people search. And we can see immediately that's an educational search, or that's somebody who's exploring chiropractic versus, no, this is somebody who needs help right now. And there's different ways that they search, right? So there's different ways that they search here, and I'm not going to read every single one of them here, but you can see there's, how can I fix my posture, right? It's not apply directly to chiropractic. Maybe it's just they need to learn, maybe through a YouTube video, on how to sit up straight. And I was then doing this video, I'm like, am I sitting up straight? Right? So are chiropractic adjustments safe? Maybe how can I treat my jaw pain? What is going on with my jaw? Maybe they feel stress or whatever, and they don't realize that this is, it could be a holistic experience where chiropractic might actually be able to help them. But, a chiropractor for back pain. So then they start getting more specific, right? Chiropractor near me, back adjustments near me. And then down here, the holy grail, your practice name. So now they're searching directly for you, or they're searching for the doctors or practitioners at your practice. All right. So our goals here, translate these awareness levels into marketing goals. So if they're unaware, then let's create awareness. Okay. That's top of funnel. That's branding. It's more, just getting the word out, right? Problem aware. Let's drive interest. So it's okay. This equates to like interest, and the goal here is to drive interest. Product or service aware. This is where they're making a decision, and our job is to influence that decision. And then most aware, this is where we're talking about action. Okay, and this is really where Google Ads works best, is to compel that action because they're searching for something very specific. Okay, so let's talk about next steps, which is building out your keywords for your Google Ads account. Now, I recommend doing this outside of Google Ads, actually. If you do it in Google Ads, that's fine, but it can take a long time, and it's really hard to manage and share and collaborate with others what I have found over the years, and I've been using this tool for many, many years now, it's best to build them out in Google Sheets. It allows you to be able to create all these keyword ideas. You do the research on the keywords. You're able to plug them into this Google Sheets document. You're able to take ideas and replicate them, because a lot of times it's patterns that repeat themselves over and over. For example, like the geo-based keywords, like near me, around me, nearby, city names, zip codes. It just allows you to be able to copy paste, and it's way, way, way more efficient to do it this way. So you will find a link to this spreadsheet down below in the description. But what we're going to do here is actually start creating, and I'm not going through the process of doing this. I'm just showing you, okay? We're not going to build it out actually, but I'm just going to show you and so you can get an idea how to use this tool. Or you can do it directly in Google Ads. Again, it's probably going to take a lot longer, and it's hard to stay organized in there. Or you can do it in the Google Ads editor. The editor is an application that you can download. You can run it on your Windows machine or your Mac, and you can do it there. But I have found, I've been doing Google Ads for over 20 years now, that this is just so much easier. So what we have here in the keyword tab, and this is a Google Sheets document again, is we have the hierarchy of Google Ads, right? So we have campaign, ad group, and then we have this structure where we put together these different keywords, okay? So keyword 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on what the keyword is. And then if you scroll over, we have, this is older from broad match modified, which doesn't exist anymore, so I'm gonna hide this column, but you'll see phrase match, exact match, broad match, and these are all formulas that create these match types for us automatically as we just type in the different keywords. So starting with the basics like chiropractor, city name, chiro city name, chiropractic, chiropractic care, chiropractic massage, okay? Near me, close by, around me, nearby, and then different types of chiropractors like sports chiropractor, back doctor, spine doctor. There's so many different ways to express chiropractic searches. And so and let me just get back to what I was saying earlier. Like, this is something that we've done thousands of times, right? So we've built out a master list of chiropractic keywords. So if you want to work with us, just give me a call again at brandrocket.net/schedule. That'll schedule a time with me, and we can talk about your goals, the goals of your business, your marketplace, and get you set up rather quickly. And because we built out this massive keyword list, we can get this thing going in days instead of weeks if you're starting from scratch. Okay, so always an option for sure. But so you'll see this as we go through, and then we get into like chiropractic back, spine, pediatric chiropractic, and then some car accident related terms. It goes on and on. There's literally thousands of them. And what we do is we organize them by ad group. So you have these thematically developed ad groups. Remember, the hierarchy of Google Ads is campaign, ad group, keywords. Okay, so you have these tightly themed keywords that live in the ad groups, and that was part of what we talked about earlier. So these ad groups are tightly themed so that we can control quality score, right? So we make sure that we create ad copy that answers these very unique queries, the user queries. So when they're typing in something like chiropractic care, maybe chiropractic care Austin, then the ad copy will answer that query specifically. It'll be like the best chiropractic care in Austin, right? So the first step is getting the keywords in place, and then we do the ad copy. There's actually another tab in this document that's all about ad copy, and it has the same exact hierarchy. So it's campaign, ad group, and then the ad copy that goes along with it. So anything that has an ad group also gets its own unique ad copy. And you'll see we actually deploy two different ads, one that's pinned with pinned headlines and the other one that's unpinned. And when we do ad copy, there's 15 different headlines, there's 4 descriptions, so there's a lot of work there as well, right? But the keywords by far is the hardest part, especially if you're starting from scratch, because you got to do a lot of research. But again, we build everything out in this Google Sheets document. So what do we do if we're starting from scratch? Let's say that you just want to do it on your own, you just want to do the legwork yourself, you're totally fine with spending a week or two doing this. Let me just show you here. So we are looking now at a test account, and I will show you this tool here. So one thing that we do is when we're creating ad copy, when we're creating keywords, the first thing that we do is we want to see exactly what's going on out there, right? So we go to the different markets, and we do a search. And a great way to do that is through this ad preview and diagnosis tool that exists in Google Ads. And you'll find it in the new interface by going into tools and selecting ad preview and diagnosis. Okay. And when you do that, let me just get rid of this. When you do that, you have options at the top where you can literally transport yourself virtually into different market areas. So right now you can see, I just selected this randomly, right? So I just put myself in Denver, Colorado. I said, show me the mobile results. I put in a chiropractor near me. And I just want to see like let's say I'm a chiropractor in Denver. I want to see who's showing up. Right? Or maybe I want to see a totally different marketplace. Maybe I want to see how are chiropractors expressing themselves in other markets. So I'll go and do chiropractor near me, and I might put in like Dallas or Miami or Seattle just to see what the ad copy looks like. Again, I'm just thinking holistically. So it's more than keywords. It's like I'm thinking forward about the ad copy as well. But the reason I do this at this point is to say, okay, who's my main competitor, right? Let's say that Denver is my market as a chiropractor. I'm going to go, okay, like who's showing up first? Okay, we have this Governor Spark Chiropractic. I actually put that into Google. I just typed it manually into Google, and you can see it's actually Governor's Park Chiropractic. And so I can say, okay, these guys are showing up in the number one position when they search for Google. So they are, at that particular moment in time, they were showing up number one. So I'm going to say, okay, what are they running for keywords, right? So I copy their URL. I go back over into Google. I have a second tab open here. And then I go into the keyword planner. So you can select tools and go into the keyword planner. And it'll allow you, let me just start from scratch here. You can say discover new keywords, and it will allow you to start with a website. Okay. And that's when I plugged in. I'm just going to go back over here. I'm going to copy that URL. I'm going to go back to the keyword planner. I'm going to plug that in. And I can say use the entire site or use this page. I want to use the entire site, so I'm going to see what type of keywords that they're bidding on. So we're looking at this website through the lens of Google Ads to see how Google Ads actually views the website. So let's see what happens here. Okay, so I should get a whole bunch, and you can see right away, and it gives me average monthly searches. What you do need to adjust is the target area. So right now it's on all of the United States. I'm going to say Denver, Colorado. Okay. And now you can see the average monthly searches have gone down quite a bit. And I can see, okay, best chiropractor near me, deep tissue massage. And as I'm going through here, if I didn't already have a master list, which I do, if I'm going through here and doing this from scratch, I would be doing like a mental checklist. I'd be writing down notes and saying, okay, does this really apply to me? Like, am I a sports chiropractor? Because this is a great keyword. You know, if I am, right? Top chiropractor near me, top rated chiropractor, chiropractic massage. So this is what we use to start formulating these patterns of how the keywords are going to be deployed or created in our case, the Google Sheets document. So again, we're creating these different themes of keywords that we're going to use later on for ad copy. And it allows us, by doing these ad groups that are thematically built out, it not only allows us to be able to capture the high quality scores as quickly as possible, but it allows us to be able to control the bids at the ad group level. So if there's a certain keyword that's converting for you at the proper cost per conversion, at the proper profit margin, right? So we're doing a full cost analysis on this. If this is the keyword that's leading to new business on a regular schedule, then we need to amplify that. And we'll take that keyword and we'll take those keywords that are part of that ad group, again, thematically developed keywords, and we will set the bids at the proper level at the ad group level, so that we can say, okay, we are going to dominate the page position. We are going to destroy the competition, right, for those particular keywords and dominate page position. Because again, think about page position, how it relates to click-through rate and then also quality of leads. So the higher you are up in the page for the right searches that mean the most to your business in terms of profit margin, the better it is. You're going to get better CGR. You're going to get better quality, lead quality. So this is why this is so important. So if you're starting from scratch, again, go through this list and make notes. A lot of times I just do it in Notepad on my computer, and I start writing out all these different keywords, and I start formulating these ideas and the structure of how these ad groups should come to life in a thematically developed if you think about it from themes, like you start thinking about how this should look, in terms of like themes with these different keywords, right? So start writing down these notes somewhere. It could be on a notepad. It could be like in Notepad on your computer, but start to formulate these ideas about the thematic development of ad groups, because again, quality scores and allows you to bid at the proper level for the keywords that matter to your business. Really, really important stuff. So you can see here, there's a whole bunch of different keywords, right? We're talking about like auto injury. Like I would never, ever, at some point I might bid on auto injury, but right in the beginning, it's too vague. Like, is that for an attorney? Is that who's, I'm going to be bidding against a lot of people that could be completely meaningless, right? So you have to get really, really specific, like auto accident chiropractor near me, for an example, could be a good one. And you can see here, there's different themes here, and you just have to organize it. You have to think in terms of like organization and thematic development of ad groups, and take all those notes that you created and start building based off of an organized structure. And this is why that Google Sheets document is so helpful, because it allows you to stay organized. All right. So that's a tool that I use. Again, going back over into this particular tool, this is the ad preview and diagnosis. Allows me to be able to say, okay, who's actually in the auction in my market? You could do this right in Google as well. So if you're in Denver, in this particular example, you could do a search and see also that way, right? I would probably go into incognito mode on the browser to do that, because if you keep searching and searching and searching, Google will stop showing you those results if you're not clicking on them. And you probably don't want to click on them. You're going to cost somebody money every time you click it, right? So make sure you use this tool actually if you're going to start clicking, because this will allow you to see who's in your market without clicking on the ads and costing them money, right? So ad preview and diagnosis tool, and then also again the keyword planner, which allows us to plug in different URLs to see how Google views those websites specifically. And then you take this and then you start to create your keyword structure. All right. So hopefully that's helpful. I know there's a lot there, but this is really the hardest part of building out your campaigns, because it requires a lot of thought, a lot of strategic thought in determining, okay, what do I want to pull in? What types of searches do I want to pull in? Can I actually target those searches? Because my market might be super, super competitive, where the CPCs or cost per click could be too high, where it doesn't make sense. And again, it's not only the cost per click, it's also the conversion rate. So if somebody clicks and they go to your website, can you convert that traffic into a booking or not, right? So it's a whole thing, this analysis where it's not only in the Google side, but it's post-click CRO, conversion rate optimization, that happens as well, to make sure that when you're paying a certain amount of money for these keywords, that everything has to flow through all the way to the booking, and then the patient coming in, or the person coming in becoming a patient at the right cost. And again, going back to the previous videos where we look at it holistically, we say, okay, what is the long-term patient value, right? And can I afford to be bidding at these particular levels and have this comfort and this peace of mind, knowing that this is a true investment in my practice and I'm not just throwing money away? An example of that is if you didn't build it in this structure and you just kind of followed Google's prompts, 99% of the time you're going to be throwing money away. So take your time with the keyword build. Really give it a lot of strategic thought. Use the Google Sheets document. I highly recommend it. It allows you to stay structured and organized in your process. And again, I mentioned this before. We do this stuff all day long. Okay. So if you need help in any way, we can help with the build. We have very extensive builds in chiropractic because we've done this work before. We discount it because a lot of this is already pre-developed in terms of the keywords and the ad copy. Not so much on the ad copy because the ad copy has to be a reflection of your practice. We don't go generic on ad copy, but the keywords a lot of times are the same from market to market, and we've done the legwork, right? So we can help you out there. It does require a conversation, so I would be speaking to you for like 15 or 20 minutes. You can book that through brandrocket.net/schedule, and I look forward to chatting with you. All right, we'll see you in the next video.